Hello everyone, Sientir here with Final Fantasy XIII, and today we train, because I have a fight with the Haka waiting for me at the top of this tower, and as I just got done talking about yesterday, that is one heck of a fight, and I need to be prepared for it, and that means I need a lot more CP. I need to get my characters stronger, I need to get them more powerful, so that way they can apply the sort of damage to Dahaka that I need them to be able to apply to actually be able to beat that fight. And also so that way they can tank the damage that I need them to be able to tank. Because, and yes, I am in easy mode. That's going to make grinding easier, and it doesn't seem to decrease the amount of CP I get, so why not? I don't feel like that guy's the most efficient. Actually, the fight that I really want is the one against the, five automatons. I think that might be down here. Something I need to check is, it doesn't really matter. What do you sell? Yeah, I don't really care. What can I sell to you? Okay, so a lot of these are not worth much, which is not surprising. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I don't really have good options for selling them, per se. Is it down here that the... Yeah. I want to do this fight. Let's actually go into my paradigms, though. Because I want to set Relentless Assault as my opening. Because these guys are a not too bad fight in terms of difficulty. And they reward really good CP. So I feel like this is kind of my best option for that. Okay, you can see that guy's already staggered. I may need to switch to the one where Hope heals, though. Yeah, okay. Reverse it is. Hope needs to heal himself. That's okay. There we go. Taking these guys down. So, I don't know, this might be what most of today is. I do want to be accurate to the experience, though. And the thing is, I feel like I have to get a lot more CP. I need to get a lot stronger. I don't know how to out-clever the fight with the Haka. I don't know if there's something that I could do differently with my paradigms that would make things work better. But when I fundamentally run into the problem of this boss just completely annihilated my lead character's HP with one move, what can I do about that? Except try to get my characters stronger. So you saw that was 8k. I think they respawn if I just go up the stairs here. Yep. That should respawn them, I think. No, it doesn't respawn them. Maybe if I just go use the save point. Because that fight is really good. No, it doesn't respawn them. What's down this hall? I was hoping that would respawn them, but it did not. Oh yeah, that thing I'm not fighting. Well, This game even makes grinding difficult and awkward. So I don't know. basically, to kind of summarize where I'm at with this game, I find the story really interesting. I like a lot of the world design stuff. Okay, I think he might have maxed out Commando. I certainly think that a lot of its systems are at least interesting design concepts to consider. But I just find it utterly aggravating to actually play a lot of the combat, because that and it's a very minor thing, but I don't like the camera design either. But a lot of the combat just feels very, okay, yeah, he's finished Commando. So I think working on his Ravager next makes sense. He's got a couple more abilities he can get in Synergist as well. Okay, so it's Bar Thunder and Bar Water. Might as well move him towards those. So anyway, because of like a lot of the mechanical structure of the game that I find kind of irritating, it's like, do I want to push through and finish it, or do I want to just say, okay, I've seen the important stuff about the design of the game, and boost chain bonus to stagger target upon attacking. Bolster Blitz or Runga at head of attack queue when Ravager is present. See, some of it feels like I just need to work on getting these things filled out more, because it will dramatically increase like their survivability and power of my party. And so if I do that, like, that will fix the issue, as it were. But that obviously requires a just what, like 250? No, 350 CP away from that. But it's just one of those things where it's like, I feel like I've seen most of what this game has to offer mechanically, so I'm not quite sure what I want to do with the game otherwise. Like, I'm curious in the story. I want to see where it goes. I would like to continue seeing where the game goes with things, but it's I find it frustrating enough to play that kind of dissuades me a little bit. Let's just go to the ground floor and fight some of the stuff down that way. See how that goes. There's some treasure chests back that way and all that stuff too, so. So I don't know. Oh, there's a treasure chest I missed. That's kind of what I want to do, though, is I want to locate what loot have I missed, what... Because there's definitely things around that I've missed, so... I don't know. I assume these guys are going to be a lot less deadly than they used to be. Yeah, that's a lot less deadly than they used to be. That first one should not... Like, so that, like, that's one of the little design things. It's like, the very first time you do a paradigm shift in a battle, it does a cutscene individually showing each of your characters' paradigm role shifting. But all the other ones, it only shows your lead character, right? It doesn't quite do the same sort of cutscene thing. And that actively makes things with the lead character, or with that first paradigm shift, worse. it makes it slower and take longer and more risky and all sorts of stuff. So it's like, how am I supposed to approach this system given that? No, I want to do prudent planning. Like, look at that. Why does that cutscene take so long? There's no reason it needs to take that long. So, I don't know. It's just, okay, you know what? Let's just switch over to this. Let him Swana some of that stuff away. Yeah, we've got bar lightning on though, so storm conduction is going to do like nothing to us. So, I don't know. What do I do with this game? Because I feel like at this point, what I need to do is just make a bunch of episodes of grinding, and I don't know how much people really want to watch that, but I don't have time in my life to do that off camera. So here we are. Here we are. The thing is, I also have no sense of how far through the game I am either. And do I go ahead and say, okay, I can finish this game if I put enough time into it, but are enough people interested in watching it to make it worthwhile to actually do that? I'm just verbally talking about a lot of the stuff I'm thinking about. That's how it works with commentary, honestly, is a lot of your focus and attention is going, oh, well, that was an interesting number, but nice. A lot of your focus and attention has to go to some, like, what you're playing, because otherwise you're going to perform very poorly. Didn't get the sneak up. That's okay. Would have needed to use a Decepticol, but I can't buy those as far as I know right now. So. I'm going to actually go to prudent planning long enough to get us hasted at least.
I appreciate it.
You know, I'll take any other stuff, but
Bobbing and weaving.
So, I mean, the thing is I can tell that my characters have gotten a lot stronger in this tower, which is useful. So maybe I can go back out and conquer some of the other stuff out there and get more treasure and get stronger that way. But if I had the sense that people were watching this and enjoying this and wanting to see it go on, I'd be more invested myself, if that makes sense. To where part of my calculus is, okay, how much time do I spend trying to make progress in this game? Can I even get out of this tower? Yeah, okay, the exit's over that way. But how much time do I spend trying to make progress in this game by wandering off to other areas and stuff versus like, okay, well, if I switched games, would that be more watched? Because to some extent, like I said, I do feel like I've seen mechanically what I need to see from this game. There might be some new mechanics that they introduce, I don't know, but I definitely feel like I've seen the bulk of them. So that's part of what makes me take pause and wonder, okay, have I seen it? Like, here's one of the little things that would be nice. If at the start of a fight, instead of automatically having these picked, if at the start of a fight, it just brought up a quick little, what paradigm do you want to start in menu? Right? That would be helpful. That would be beneficial. It's like, if I'm fighting one of these guys, I mean, frankly, I probably just want to stay in this one, because getting a bunch of buffs up at the start is just very, very useful, but...
Thanks.
I'm going to go to diversity so we can start getting some of those things taken off. He's going to be spamming a Swana, though. So I don't know. What I think I might do, honestly, is say, okay, if people start watching this and you get to this point and you're like, oh man, I want to see Sientir finish Final Fantasy XIII. I really want to see what happens. Then I can pick that back up. But what honestly at this point, what I'm kind of feeling at the moment is to say, okay, I've gotten to, what is this, episode 55, I think? That's pretty good. I could keep going with it, but I've kind of seen enough of the mechanics to get kind of a sense of what it's doing. And maybe it's time to switch to something else that perhaps people will be more interested in watching. Because these have been not exactly performing up to this point. So, I think if I'm going to give a quick summary of a lot of this game mechanically, I feel that it's overly complicated for very little benefit. Like, if you're going to add complexity, you need to be getting something from that complexity. And I feel like what they're getting from that complexity is trying to sell guides, bluntly put. Like, that's what it feels like. In that they don't really explain it, and it just seems overwrought for no good reason. There's certainly some interesting ideas, like investing in your weapons the way that they have you do means that you want to have a character kind of go in a specific direction, use a specific weapon, and really focus on that, right? And that has some benefit to it. I don't know if this game is leveraging that benefit or not, but it has some benefit. And it just, I don't know, a lot of the stuff just feels like it takes an awfully long time to accomplish things with. And I'm just not quite sure why. Okay, we have one of those bird things.
Try that on me.
Let's get buffs going. I know that bird thing was pretty deadly in the previous time when I fought it, so...
Try that on me.
But it just, so much of this game feels like it's a step away from just playing itself. You're really determined to get vigilance up on everyone. Okay, let's go up and put more offensive here. We need to take this dog thing out. So it makes it so that way your characters are kind of set, and I feel like almost to some extent there's some logic to doing that in this system, because the idea, if you get far enough, that your characters are more set by what accessories you've invested in on them than they are by what they actually do mechanically. I like the idea of the roll system, but it almost feels like it should have been done with half as many characters, to where you use every character or something, because it does mechanically lead to characters becoming somewhat mechanically overly similar and flat as a result. And the way that it kind of like most of this game is auto-battling. I feel like it needs to be at a different level. It almost needs to be more of an RTS, or some sort of like master controller level. We should be able to just dump damage into it right now. So, I don't know. I don't know exactly how to approach some of this stuff, but I do think I'm going to take a break from this game, see about playing something else for a while on the channel, see if something else can perform better, and all that sort of stuff. Ooh, that's a bunch of Sinister Fangs. That's good for using the upgrade system. I don't know, I'm going to go back over to the tower, I think. Oh, I'm going to fight this thing, apparently. So, let's see. Are there any other things that I want to talk about with this system and with how this game works? Like, a lot of my complaints are just things are unclear, fights are long and tedious, menus are overwrought. It feels like a game that's like overproduced and like undercrafted, if that makes sense. And when I say undercrafted, I mean like there's this concept of like theory crafting, where let's just go to diversity and start getting damage on this thing. Where you kind of think through how things are going to play out, and it feels like there's consequences to how some of the stuff is set up that I don't know. But a lot of it too is going to come down to preference. Like, my personal preference would be to take this game and make it more of an action game, where I have control of my character more, and more like a Kingdom Hearts or something, right? And I would be more interested in going that direction with it, because I feel like it's already got like a foot in there and it's like falling in, but it's not quite made it yet, if that makes sense. Where that's what it wants to be. It wants to be an action game, but they couldn't quite bring themselves to make it an action game. Because the advantage of something like the ATB system is it lets you, in theory, have something that gains some of the benefits of real time, which, like, simultaneous actions, or where actions take a specific amount of time to execute, that can be represented in a way. And it also means that systems that give me faith and bravery on Snow.
I owe you.
Yeah, just. But so like that's some of the advantage, or some of the advantages of real time, right? But the issue that I have with this, but like the benefit, one of the other benefits is you get some of the benefits of turn-based, where you're not worried about some of the finer control details of things like positioning and all that sort of stuff, which you don't in this game. Like, positioning matters, but you don't have any control over it. But it means that you get to control what your allies do. And being able to make a fuller team-based decision-making is great. This one has reduced decision-making in the menus. And most of the decision-making is at the paradigm level.
I appreciate it.
And so, like, why not just lean into that fact, you know? It's kind of how it feels to me. And so, I just don't get why they didn't go more action game, or even more kind of like how some of the 4X games, 4X space games will just have battles kind of like automatically play out. That direction could have also worked really well too, where like you'll stop to intentionally use items, but otherwise, and abilities, the TP abilities, but otherwise all you're really doing is setting paradigms. that's most of what you're doing anyway. Like, you can intentionally do stuff with selecting specific moves, and I've done that a few times here, where I have, like just then, where I'm like, okay, I want you to use things. But most of the time, the AI's decision of, like, what ability should I use is good enough. Like, I don't really need to care or select stuff. So, I don't know. It feels like I'm not... To me, I don't quite get why this is using an ATB system as opposed to being actually real-time in some way. Maybe like a Tales game, like a Tales of Symphonia or Tales of Vysteria or whatever. Or alternatively, giving me more strategic control over my individual characters and stuff like that. I don't know. It feels like it's in a really weird spot, and I'm just not quite sure how to react to that. Is it 5th tier that those views are on? And like the other thing too is this game feels like you need to do a lot of grinding to get appropriate levels of power in it. But the issue is grinding is also vaguely challenging to do because you have to respawn enemies and stuff, and it's kind of awkward. So, I don't know, the whole thing feels a bit clunky in that regard. Can I? Yes, I can just walk over there. I'm going to then. So, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. I guess I'll fight these guys and put some Crystarium and stuff, but... Oh, I got a preemptive strike.
Time to pull the old switcheroo.
Man, half of these guys are staggered now. Well, that was a really powerful entrance. Yeah, no, that was really, really, really powerful. Just walking in there. I wasn't trying to. But here we are. I'll take it. So, I don't know. I'm still torn. I'm still torn on whether I continue this next week or if I should set it to the side. But honestly, it's been 55 episodes, and I think it might be time to just set it aside, do something else, and maybe come back to it later. That's kind of what I'm feeling at this point. So let's go ahead and put some Crystarium into stuff. And, okay, so his Commando's good. Let's work on his Ravager. This menu does not need to be like this, by the way. This menu is way slower than it has any need to be. I don't need to wait for it to build these things up. It takes it a while to load. Like, it's just not a great menu, in my opinion. It is something... They could have accomplished the same thing in a much simpler format, and I know this because I have seen this idea in much simpler formats, much simpler web, and this is just an overly complicated UI for no good reason that I can think of. Okay, I'm working on completing his medic. Okay, I think that completes his medic. Yeah. I don't know what good that does, but... You know, here we are. Ravager has a lot of abilities for him to get, so I want to work on that. Yeah, so we can get up towards Thundaga eventually, and Waterga, and Vigor. Blizzaga and Faraga. He gets a lot of strong magic eventually. It just requires a lot of CP. So, you know, it takes a while. Did I have one of these specifically that I was trying to go for? She's got a lot of saboteur abilities she can get. Go this way, get these things. I mean, sure, that's not the direction I was trying to go. It's part of the problem with this system, but here we are. What do I want to work on? Her Commando, her Ravager, her Medic. There's one more Medic ability she can get. More Ravager. I guess I'm gonna work on her Ravager a little bit. I don't know, maybe this makes a lot of difference. Maybe it doesn't make much difference at all. I think Hermetic's just about done, so I kind of want to... Yeah. I'm gonna... Oh, plus 125 HP, eh? That's pretty nice. Is that everything? Let's check. 3 out of 3, 8 out of 8, 29. Yep, that's everything. Let's work on her Ravager, I guess, now. It's her Dispelga. An interesting little wheel thingy. Okay, well that's everybody gotten some more levels, I guess. Anything interesting in the data log, or just a bunch of enemy intel? Just a bunch of enemy intel. These guys, which these screens, part of the other thing too is it just feels like, they give me like a bunch of half information on things. It's like, okay, I don't have full info on what's going on here. Of like, what do I need to worry about? What are some of their abilities? It's just like, yeah, here's their vulnerabilities, there's hazard immunities, and you know, it's endemic of this whole game, which is just like a lot of half information, and I don't quite like that, but here we are. Here's how they've done it. So. Well, I think that's going to conclude things for me today. I don't really have a whole lot more to do except grind some more so I can feel like I can get my characters to points where they're strong enough to take out this boss. And I guess the main thing I could do is swap to Snow, because at least he would be able to tank everything. That's a possibility. But I'm going to go ahead and set Final Fantasy XIII aside for the time being, and next week I'm going to come back with a different game. I'm willing to come back to this one, absolutely, but it's either going to have to be because I feel like I want to complete it or actual viewer interest. So until next time, everyone, take care and goodbye.